Rather than lads, welcome back to 99 Sport. My name is Cossy. Spurs have bottled their chance to go 6 points clear of Arsenal in the top four race. And that means if Arsenal win against Southampton this evening, it will be level. They'll be back on level terms with Spurs. Arsenal still having a game in hand. Antonio Conte will not believe what he's seen with his eyes, and that is the beauty of the Premier League, because Brighton, a side that had only picked up 1 point in their last 6 games, have come now and picked 6 out of their last 6 points. They picked 6 points out of their last 6 available against Arsenal and Tottenham. Two sides that have been in very good runs, 2 sides that have been in very, very good form. And can you believe that Brighton have actually not considered a goal in their last 2 games, and they have scored 3, and those 3 have come against Spurs and Arsenal. Look, there's so many things to talk about in this game, like Spurs crumbling under pressure, but it didn't look like Spurs crumbled under pressure. I think Graham Potter and Brighton need to take everything in, every credit in this game. It goes to Brighton, it goes to Graham Potter, because what he's done, he figured out one or two things. One, how do I stop Harry Kane, and how do I stop Son and Kulusevski? And that is how you beat Spurs, because that is their engine. If you look at those 3 in their last 9 games in the Premier League, they had combined and scored more goals than any other pair or any other front line in the Premier League. 18 goals and 15 assists between them in their last 9 games. That is absolutely remarkable. But what is even more remarkable is that Brighton have stopped them from having a single shot on target. Actually, Harry Kane has been a total failure on that pitch today, because in both roles we know Harry Kane can drop deep, pick up the ball in deeper areas when he cannot actually get the supply, and then try to facilitate Son and Kulusevski. He has not done that because of Yves Bissouma, and if you look at the side window on my screen, Yves Bissouma, man of the match. What a guy he is. What a performance this lad has had, just to make sure that Harry Kane does not get involved. And I think that's the reason as to why Spurs have lost this game. Everything of theirs runs through Harry Kane. Everything Spurs do runs through Harry Kane. And when you stop Harry Kane, you ultimately stop Son. You ultimately stop Dejan Kulusevski. But also, I think there was a tactical masterclass from Graham Potter, especially in terms of the shape and the rhythm at which this game was played. Brighton, not at any point in time did they try to increase the tempo of speed of this game. Actually, if they had the opportunity, they made it slower and slower and slower. And that was so frustrating for Spurs, especially in the first half, when you thought Spurs had more energy, had more life. They're trying to do their things at a little bit of a more interesting pace. What Brighton were doing, they were breathing life out of this game. That is what they were doing. All the speed, all the tenacity, all the urgency in this game. That is what they did. They killed everything relating to speed, relating to urgency, relating to how quick the game could be played. And ultimately, what that did is it meant that Spurs were never gonna get those counterattacks, whether mini counterattacks or full counterattacks, because again, Brighton were not committing all their numbers, were not committing bodies into the final third. They were not doing that, despite the fact that they had the ball on a couple of occasions. They had their own share of the ball, but they never committed 100% in the final third. So that means that meant that Spurs, despite the fact that they could get the ball, they could run in behind, but they really could not run in behind the defense of Brighton. All they could do is they could pick up the ball and then lose it in that midfield area. And I think Graham Potter, that is what he did. He made sure that Bentancur and Pierre-Emile Højbjerg do not get enough time on the ball, because they didn't. But also, he just created many overloads. He just created many up. He just planted many bodies in the midfield. How many players did Brighton have in the midfield today? They had Leandro Trossard, who you think literally played as a midfielder. They had McAllister. They had Bissouma. They had Caicedo, and then they also had Enoch Mwepu, in the first half. So literally they had 5 players suffocating the midfield. Spurs were left with an option: play that ball in behind, play long balls in behind, and of course it's been a very, very great job by Veltman and Dunk. Ken, Son, and Kulusevski could not meet those balls. And I was a little bit scared, at the beginning of the game, because I thought Lamptey and Cucurella, the fact that all these players, both of them love playing high up the pitch, it could create problems for Brighton. But then it didn't, because Cucurella today, unlike other days, we've not seen his offensive threat as much. He's been playing very, very narrow and deep. Tariq Lamptey has been playing very, very high up the pitch, but he was really, very, really covered well by Caicedo and Yves Bissouma. So I thought Brighton in this game, they deserve to walk away with all the credit. I mean, I do not care if anyone thinks otherwise, but they've been absolutely outstanding. But this is my problem with Spurs, and this is my problem with Antonio Conte today. They had a chance to change how things were moving in the second half. They didn't do that. I thought they needed a player. They needed a player in the midfield who could actually break through the lines. They needed to play a little bit more through the lines, to break the lines, try to create some kind of resistance, because they made it so easy for Brighton. Brighton had a very good structure. Brighton had a very good shape, but you had to destabilize that. You had to play like a team that is owning and wanting to go back to the UEFA Champions League and is in that driving seat, but they didn't do it. They never at any point in time tried to break through the lines. They never at any point in time tried to destabilize the shape and structure of Brighton in that midfield. All they did was, Brighton upset a low block in the midfield. So what we're going to do is we're going to try to bypass their shape by, playing those long balls in behind. And this is very good for Brighton, very bright from Graham Potter. He's not played the high line. He's noticed that Spurs will be trying to run, in behind all the time through Kulusevski and Son, and then probably, facilitated by Ken. So he didn't play a high line. He played it very, very, very narrow between him. Between the defenders and their goalkeeper. So literally any ball over the top was cleared into that midfield space, which was dominated by Brighton players. And if any ball escaped Veltman and Dunk, then it was well dealt with by Sanchez, who of course we know is a very, very good goalkeeper when it comes to the not only the reflexes but also trying to cover for the back four and acting as a sweeper goalkeeper. So Spurs, they played at a very low pace. They played just in the hands of Brighton. And I think Graham Potter, when he goes back home, is going to go, well, you lads have really, really done a very, very good job. But I would like to get your thoughts and opinions about this game. What exactly did you think about Spurs? Arsenal are backing it. United are backing it only if they can win their games in this evening. My name is Cossy, and I'll speak to you right in the next one.